Hi, everyone. If you are here for summer watering strategies with instructor Frank Niccoli, you're in the right place. And as we're getting started, I just want to wish everyone a happy Earth Day and thanks for joining us. For those of you who are not familiar with any of the classes that we do with Bosca Online, everybody's muted by default. It's up to our instructor, Frank, if he'd like to take questions throughout the presentation, or you can always drop a question in the chat or in the Q&A, and we can get to them in due time, and we'll make sure we address everything at the end. So never fear, your question will be answered. And for those unfamiliar with Bosca, it does represent a large number of communities throughout the Bay Area that serves 1.8 million people, to be exact, and over 40,000 businesses and community organizations in San Mateo, Santa Clara, and Alameda counties. And because we have such a large portion of our overall water use in our area going to outdoor irrigation, that's the whole objective of these garden classes that we're offering, is trying to have people understand how they can hone in on that water use and make some nice, beautifully aesthetic changes to their gardens that are water-wise and mindful at the same time. There are a number of rebates despite throughout our service areas, whether you're in the Bosca service area or Valley Water. Lawn Be Gone is a lawn conversion program with rebates that vary depending on what your municipality may offer in terms of additional cost sharing. There are also rain barrel rebates available. Smart controllers, which I'm sure Frank may speak to, and rain garden rebate programs. So do check out the options available through Bosca and see what your city may offer as an additional incentive. Again, happy Earth Day. I just want to remind you that the city of Santa Clara, who's hosting tonight's class, has a pretty generous landscape conversion rebate, up to $5,000 for residents and up to $110,000 if you're involved with a commercial property. So keep that in mind. And for those in Valley Water Service area, like I mentioned about the lawn conversion rebate, they offer a similar program that varies with funding available depending on where you live in their South County. They also sponsor the South Bay Green Gardens website. And if you're starting a garden project and are a little lost, this is a great place to go for some direction. They have all kinds of tips, how-to videos, sample garden design drawings that you can take a look at and replicate parts of. So do check that out. There are a lot of great resources there. And Valley Water also has a great newsletter. If you're not currently signed up, they have all kinds of things that they're constantly keeping folks abreast of. They just had a wonderful garden tour this past weekend. So if you're interested for native plant gardens, I should mention, um, if you're interested in finding out what's going on locally, go ahead and sign up for their newsletter. Bosca is offering more classes through, I believe, the beginning of June, in addition to tonight's class. So follow their website to see what other offerings are available through the end of spring series. And this last opportunity, for those of you who are really unfamiliar with plants, this is a great place to look. It gives some great photographs of completed gardens, and as you hover over plants that you think look interesting, it'll give you details about their planting needs, exposure, irrigation, companion plants. So it's a really great tool for those of you who are new to plants. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Oh, did I not share that whole time? In any case, I'm done now. So we'll turn it over to our wonderful speaker tonight, Frank Niccoli.
Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone tonight? Happy Earth Day. Anyway, a couple of objectives for this talk. We want to understand why irrigation maintenance matters. And there's three particular reasons why it matters. Water conservation, of course, is key. So many times I see irrigation systems that are improperly installed and they're watering the concrete. And in all my years of doing this, I've never seen the concrete increase in size because of the amount of water that they're putting on it. And many of you may not know this, but you're getting charged sewer tax on top of your water bill. Your sewer tax is based on the amount of water that you're using. So if you reduce your water bill, you're obviously going to reduce your sewer tax. That's the way it works, isn't it, Victoria? Yes.
Santa Clara actually has a flat rate for sewer, and I know some other agencies do too, so it does depend on your service area and your utility.
Got it. Thank you for that. Cost savings, obvious. Water is not going down. It continues to rise. The snowpack, I haven't seen the latest measurements, but we weren't in great shape on the snowpack. That's where we get our summer water. I think they're going to be doing a measurement next week or the week after. I'm not sure.
The most recent one was below 10% of normal.
Ouch. That's not good. The other reason that we want to maintain a proper irrigation system is the health of the plants. Overwatering and underwatering will cause the plants to decline. If you're underwatering, they're subject to drought stress, and you get diseases like verticillium and oak root fungus. If you're overwatering, then it's Phytophthora, Bacteriosphaeria, and some of the other overwatering diseases that will kill your plants. So you want to make sure that you're putting the right amount of water on your garden. And we're going to talk about how to do that tonight. The other reason is system longevity. Whenever I do these talks, I ask people how many times do they want to install an irrigation system? And the answer is once. So I put my irrigation system in the home that I'm living at currently in 1991, and it's still operable. Most landscape installation people do not know how to install irrigation systems. They don't. And if you get somebody from one of the big box stores that's standing around out there and have them do your system, it's usually not done correctly. And it's like buying a car that's going to get 2 miles per gallon of gas. You don't buy that car because in the long run, it's going to cost you money. Your irrigation system is the same way. You want it installed correctly. You want it installed by a professional who knows irrigation because it's the long-term money that's going to hurt you. So you want to make sure you get it done and done right. I see so many poorly installed systems in my time. And that being said, let me share screen. There we go. If you're going to install a irrigation system for longevity, get good stuff. So this is Hunter Industries. They have some of the best irrigation material out there. You can't not buy this in big box. Let me say that again. You cannot buy that or this material at big box. You want to go where the contractors go. Contractors hate callbacks. And so you want to buy your irrigation materials that are commercial grade. Big box does not sell commercial grade irrigation products. They rely on repeat business. As a landscape contractor, these irrigation businesses rely on the repeat business of landscape contractors. That's how they're making their money. So I'll come back to this Hunter site, but I want to show you site one is a great place to buy irrigation materials. There's one in San Carlos, I believe there's two in San Jose. I'm not sure whether you guys have one over in the East Bay. Um, but if not, you do have a Ewing over there. This is Ewing Irrigation, and they are one of the best providers of irrigation material out there. When you go into the store, if you like hardware stores, you're going to love this place, both Ewing and Site One. A little tip, if you go in there when the contractors are there, they're going to ignore you. They make their money off the contractors. When I had my business, I was giving them ten to $20,000 a month. And so when I go in there, I get the coffee, I get the donuts. So if you're there at 7 o'clock and you look like a homeowner, they're going to ignore you. That's just the way it is. If you go at 9 o'clock, they're more than willing to help you. The contractors are gone, they're out working. If you go at noon, they're going to ignore you because, again, the contractors are grabbing material for the rest of the day. And the irrigation houses usually have hot dogs or pizza for the contractors. So, as a contractor, I got the hot dogs and pizza because I was there at noon. Don't go at noon because they ignore you. You might even be able to sneak a hot dog or a piece of pizza, but they're still going to ignore you. You want to go about 1:30 when the contractors are gone. Again, 4 o'clock, contractors are there. So you definitely do not want to be there because they will ignore you. They both of these irrigation suppliers are very friendly. They will get you into the right stuff. They'll help you. They know irrigation. They've been doing it for quite some time now, and they have good qualified people to help you get the right materials. So um, don't buy from big box. Just not good stuff. Um, you want professional grade material. Contractors hate callbacks. And part of the reason that they get callbacks if they're buying junk from big box is because it's not professional grade. It's there for reliability. And Hunter Industries is one of the best in the business. I want to be talking about their products extensively tonight. So one of the biggest tips that I can give you is that you want to test your irrigation system often. Most people set it in the spring and forget it, and they think the thing is working, and they don't know they're in trouble until the irrigation system is declining or is not working correctly, and the plant material begins to suffer. At that point, they begin to understand that they've got a problem. But when you're looking at your irrigation system, you want to look for stuff like this. Wiper seal on this particular sprinkler head may be bad, or the weed eater might have cut this and it's spraying erratically. If it's at the wrong angle, it's also going to not work correctly. The squirrels have chewed the nozzle off of this particular head, and so it's not working correctly. You want to check and maintain your system often. You want to turn it on and visually look at it. Um, if you have heads that are at an angle, they're designed to be at 90 degrees. And if they're at an angle, they're not watering correctly. They're either overshooting or undershooting. Your irrigation heads are the heart of your system. Here's one that's at a bad angle. This thing has to be at exact 90 degrees perpendicular to the turf. So check it and check it often. The other part of the irrigation system that most people forget about is this. Let's go to the MP rotator. So when we talk about the MP rotator, this is by far and away the best irrigation nozzle in the business currently. It has a very low precipitation rate. What does that mean? It means it is the amount of water that it's applying in a given amount of time. The precip rate on this one is 0.4 inches per hour. A comparable head to these waters at 2.75 inches per hour. Because we have heavy clay soils here, the water is running off before it can soak in. So you want to get a good nozzle. And the MP rotator is an excellent nozzle. It fits on all of the Hunter products. It also fits on Rainbird and Toro. Um, but quite frankly, I would not buy a Rainbird or Toro pop-up head. And I'll tell you about that in just a minute. If I forget, somebody remind me. So one of the things that a lot of people forget about is this filter. These filters cost 17 cents. When you're checking your irrigation system, clean your filters. You should do it in the spring before startup, but if you haven't done it, take these nozzles off, clean these filters, or if they're really bad, replace them. You can get a bag of 20 filters for about $4, a little less than $4. So it's easy to pop these filters off and put a new one on. Just not worth trying to clean a filter. It's not worth your time. So in terms of maintenance on these filters, make sure you're cleaning them. Turn the heads on and look at how they're watering. Make sure that they're watering correctly. So when we look at irrigation systems, you can adjust them. So this is an adjustable Hunter pop-up. One of the reasons I'm showing you this picture for two reasons. This white part down at the base of this pop-up is a wiper seal. You want to buy a pop-up with a very good wiper seal. Toro does not have a good wiper seal. Rainbird and Hunter do. You also have an adjustable screw on the top. This is for minor adjustments, 10% max. You want to buy a nozzle that is correct for the spacing that you are wanting. So in the MP series, they have an MP 1000, which is 8 to 15 feet. The 2000, 13 to 21 feet. The 3000, 22 to 30 feet. Just remember 10, 20, 30, and you can't go wrong. So if I've got a 10-foot throw, I'm going to buy an MP 1000 and adjust it using using my screwdriver to adjust it down to my throw length. It's really important to understand that an irrigation nozzle does not water in its own radius. So you don't see any water that's dropping in its own radius. The heads that are on either side of this water the radius of this particular head, and that is called head-to-head coverage. When you're testing your irrigation system, you want to make sure that you've got good head-to-head coverage, because if you don't, then the uh, uh, plant material around the radius is going to suffer. So make sure you're getting a good wiper seal, and remember that this is only about a 10% adjustable. You can't adjust it more than that because it's not built for that. Get the right one to work in your garden. Um, when we talk about um, setting up your irrigation system, let me talk about catch cans. So if you really want to get picky about your irrigation system and you want to calibrate it or figure out what you've got, then we're going to be doing let's see, where is it? Here we go. We're going to be looking at maximum and minimum run times. So these are the nozzles that I just showed you, the Hunter MP rotators, 0.45 inches per hour. It's actually 0.40. As we go up, you'll notice that the precipitation rate is changing. On these spray heads, and these happen to be rainbirds, they're 1.8 inches per hour. Gear rotors, 0.7, 0.65 on the impact, stream rotors, 0.6. The best nozzle out there is this one by far and away. What you're going to need to know is your soil type. So you notice over here in these columns, I have sand, sandy loam, 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 and clay. How do I know what kind of soil I have, Frank? Well, that's really simple to do. So what I have here is a jar. There we go. And I filled it halfway up with soil. Uh, Let me stop my blur so this can show. There we go. So I filled it up halfway with soil and I put water in there and then I put a couple tablespoons of soap in there and then I shake it up. And I shake it pretty good, about 2 or 3 minutes. And then I set it down on a table and I don't touch it. I take a tape measure and I measure the amount of soil that I have in here. And I write that down. So let's just say I've got what, 2.5, 3 inches in here. On the bottom is sand, in the middle is silt, and on the top is your clay. If I measure the individual soil components, it will give me a percentage. So if I've got 3 inches of stuff in here and I have 1 inch of clay, I've got 33% of clay. If I've got, I don't know, 25 inches of silt, that means I'm at, what, about 25% silt, and then the rest is going to be my sand. And this is valuable because I cannot set up my irrigation system unless I know what kind of soil I have. And then I take that and I go to, where is my Safari? There we go. Then I go to this. This is called the soil triangle. So let's just say I have 30% clay. Well, here's my 30% clay line. Oh, I'm sorry, it's over here on this side. 30% clay line. It goes right through the bottom half of this pyramid. So if the jar test that I just did said I had 30% clay and 30% silt, which means I've got another 40% of sand, that's putting me right here, which gives me about a clay loam. So this is how you read the soil triangle. If you don't understand that, there's a bunch of YouTube videos on this that teaches you how to read this soil triangle. So you want to make sure that you do this so that you know what kind of soil that you have. People are surprised when they do this because they say, "Oh, I've got sandy soil because I live in Foster City." Or I've got sandy soil because I live on Sand Hill Road. Well, you need to understand that in this area there are mixes of soils, and they're all different varieties. So when they built 101, they took all the soil off the top of 101, dug that whole big ditch, and where did they dump the soil? Well, they dumped it along the byways of San Carlos, San Mateo, Burlingame. All that soil went somewhere, and they dumped it before those homes were built there. So you have a mix of soils, and you need to know what kind of soil you have before you can do scheduling. So let's go back to this. So if I've got a sandy soil and I'm using an MP rotator, which has a precipitation rate of 0.45 inches per hour, then I need to water on a mild slope for 50 minutes. If I'm on a steep slope, I water for 13 minutes, shut it off, water for another 13 minutes, shut it off, and water for another 13 minutes. So that is called cycle and soak. I can't apply the entire 50 minutes in one shot. I can't do it because it's going to run off on a steep slope. No way around it. So I'm going to cycle and soak, cycle and soak, cycle and soak. The modern controllers, and I'm going to show you some controllers in a minute, will allow you to do cycle and soak. It's almost bulletproof. If I've got clay and I'm on a mild slope, then if I've got MP rotators, 18 minutes. On a steep slope, 10 minutes, and then I'm going to add another 8 minutes in about a half hour. So this is how you figure out your min-max station run times based on the kinds of soil type that you have. Really important. I can't emphasize this more. Do a soil test. It's really simple. It takes you about 5 minutes and another 5 or 10 minutes to figure out the soil triangle. Once you've got that forever, and you know how to set up your irrigation system. So by looking at, let me increase this. By looking at the type of crop that I have station number one. What is it? Is it turf, ground cover? Is it shrubs or trees, or is it natives? So I can put information in here. I can put an X in here, and it will tell me that I've got turf on station one. It also tells me my soil type. Sandy, sandy loam, loam, clay. What's my slope? What kind of a sprinkler am I using? What's my exposure? Am I in the shade, part sun, full sun, or reflected? So this chart will help you understand how to set up your irrigation controller. This chart here will actually do it for you. So when we talk about irrigation, we have to talk about ET, or evapotranspiration rates. When you apply water to a landscape, depending on the temperature, part of it evaporates, specifically in the hotter months, and part of it the plant takes in, uses the water, and then transpires it out through the stoma of the leaves. It actually comes from the bottom of the leaves. The stoma are on the bottom. So we have a number here, which is called reference ET. In January, it's 1.35. In July, it's 7.11 because that is the hottest month. So if I've got a precipitation rate of 0.40, I can adjust my irrigation system based on my crop. This happens to be turf, 0.8. Here's shrubs and ground cover. Here's shrubs and trees, no ground cover. So this will help me do all the scheduling. So I'm going to put in 0.40 as my precipitation rate. And I'm going to tell it that I'm going to run that station for 12 minutes. And it'll tell me, well, you need to water 51 minutes a week. So that means there's 4 cycles. 4 times 12 is 48, close enough to 51. So that's how this chart works. It automatically helps you understand how to manage your irrigation system and get the scheduling correct. Once you do that, Then we're going to go to another sheet. And this is an irrigation scheduling sheet. You can find these on the internet. They're all over the place. This happens to be one that we built when I had my company. I had a company called the Village Gardener. And every time you make a change in your controller, you write it down. So on station one, if I'm watering 12 minutes, I put 12 in there. Station two, 15 minutes, whatever. If I make a change, then I put the date I changed it. So what's today? April 22nd, 4, 22, 2026. So it changed, it put a date in there for me. If I make a change tomorrow for 23, 26, and I make this 14 minutes because I noticed that it wasn't watering correctly. Well, I have all my information here. If, in fact, you don't do this, then you're just guessing. What did I have that controller on last year? Did I have it on 15 minutes or was it like 18 minutes? I can't remember. Well, this is your memory. You want to put this inside the controller in a plastic sleeve so that you have all your information. This one happens to have, I don't want to do that, program A, program B, program C, program D. This one is essentially 4 controllers in one. They all operate independently of each other. How do I use these? Well, I can do program A is my turf. Program B, shrubs and ground covers in the full sun. Program C is shrubs and ground covers in the shade. Program D is my veggie garden. I can do that. One of the other things that I can do is set up program A, all my sun areas. Program B is my shade areas. And then program C is what is called a syringe cycle. So I want you to do an experiment. This summer, I want you to go into an asphalt parking lot. And I want you to get out there about 1, 2 in the afternoon. And I don't want you to bring any water with you. And I want you to stand out there till 5 o'clock in the afternoon and feel that heat. That's what your plants are feeling. And so this syringe cycle means that you're putting a partial amount of water down on your landscape about 1, 2 in the afternoon. So if I'm watering this station one at 12 minutes, then on this program C, I'm going to just set it up to water for 2 minutes. That's all. What that 2 minutes does is takes the heat off of your plants. It also is going to evaporate until the weather cools off. That water evaporating will also cool your plants. Doing this system will drop your temperature at your plant level 20 to 30 degrees easily. So if you're standing in this particular parking lot and somebody takes a 5-gallon bucket of water at 4:30 and throws it on you, you're immediately going to get cooled down. Well, that's why we do a syringe cycle. So you want to fill out these charts. Over on this side, here's your location. Let's see, I'll put front garden as a location. And then what kind of a sprinkler do I have? I have an MP rotator. I have a drip system on this one, drip, whatever it is. You fill this chart out so that you know what you're doing in managing your garden. The new controllers, and I'm going to be showing you those in just a minute, will help you do this without doing this chart. But I still think you should fill this chart out. It's valuable and it gives you information. We used to do it on iPads when I had my company, so all my foremen had an iPad. And if one of my foremen went out to a job site because a client called and said that it was looking dry, he would change it, and it would change it on all of our iPads. So if I happen to go to the same client and look out there and say, oh, that looks really dry, and I went to the spreadsheet that we had in the client folder, oh, Milo got it today. Milo changed the time. So I'm not going to do anything. If Milo hadn't written it down, then I would go in there and change it again, which is going to screw up the watering. So you want to make sure that you keep on top of this when you're checking your irrigation. Whenever you're doing an irrigation check, you're looking for leaks. You're doing a visual check. You want to make sure that things are working right. Where is, I know I just had it. Ah, here we go. You want to make sure that you're not getting problems out there. And the only way you can do that is a visual check. Do your adjusting. Guy's got a wrench on it. He's adjusting the head. Are the MP rotators rotating correctly? This is a double pop system, so this bluish part pops up also. And the reason it does that is it gets rid of debris. But if there's a lot of debris or if your filter is clogged, this doesn't work correctly. This is how it should work. So this guy's out there visually checking. You have to visually check stuff like this. You've got a problem. The head's in there, but it's at an angle. So you want to make sure you do all your vertical, all your visual checks. Very important that you do it that way. There's some of your common problems. I mean, you have water features that you didn't pay for. Again, water all over the concrete. The wiper seal on this one is gone. Um, so you want to make sure that you get these fixed. I highly recommend that you go to Site One or you go to Ewing and open an account. Um, you're going to buy stuff. They have things in there, lighting, fertilizers, bulk materials. They've got all kinds of cool things in there. Open an account. Why would I open an account? Well, you get to know the people in the store for one thing. If you've got an account, you can set it up to pay cash on the minute you buy it, or you can apply for the account and pay for it at the end of the month. So if you're like me, I'm gonna put it on my account just so I can keep my cash flow high. I would rather not give them money until the end of the month. So you want to open an account. They will open an account with you. They're really good about it. Your nearest store, they have a place here, find my nearest store. You can put in your zip code 94404, and it's going to pop up the nearest store. It happens to be on Branston Street. There's also one in San Leandro on Polverosa Avenue. So you can find these stores pretty easy. So open an account with them so that you don't have to worry about um, uh, looking like a homeowner. I want to go into controllers. By far and away, the best controller out there, in my opinion, are the Hunter controllers. They are way ahead of everybody. This is a Hunter HCC. Here's a Pro C. Here's an HPC. I'm going to open up the HPC. It says that it goes from 4 to 32 stations. It's a modular controller. It manages irrigation from anywhere. In other words, I can take my phone, and if I'm laying on a beach in Mexico drinking Coronas, I can take my phone and see what's going on with my irrigation system because it connects through a app on my phone. It's very easy to use. It is a smart controller. Smart controllers are dumb. They need to be programmed. It's going to take you anywhere from 3 to 6 months after you get this controller in to program it and get it calibrated to your garden. Once it's calibrated to your garden, it all of a sudden becomes real smart. You can save anywhere between 39 to 79% of your current water using a smart controller. I happen to have a HydroWise, and it has saved me anywhere about 70% of what I was using before. And that's mainly because I calibrated it. Let me go to my HydroWise and I'll show you what it does. HydroWise. Yeah, that's me. So here is my controller. I have my front patio drip system, front curb, front of the house, native garden, pop-ups at the patio, drip main patio, veggies, garbage area, drip at the hot tub, and the harvester drip. So all of these are individual zones. I can go into this and look at it and see what's going on with it. So I have it on what's called a virtual solar sink. A virtual solar sink, I'm going to show you a solar sink. Right, products, sensors. Here's a solar sink. This is a sensor that sits in your garden. So the way the HydroWise works is that this HydroWise system pairs with a weather station. The weather station that mine is paired with is 2 blocks from my house. In addition to that, I put up a solar sync sensor, and this connects wirelessly to my controller, and it reads solar radiation and whether it rained that day and sends that information to my controller, which automatically updates every night at 8 o'clock. So on my controller, I have a virtual solar sync. So that's what this means. It runs on Wednesday. It's going to run on Wednesday, the 29th of April at 5 a.m. The way I have my controller set up is that if it rains, it does not come on for 5 to 7 days. So it's been raining pretty good the last couple of days. So my system is off and will be off until this rainstorm gets over with. Watering triggers. I have mine set up so that if the temperature is less than 50 degrees, don't water. Water 30% less if the temperature is at 55. If we hit 72, water 30% more. Don't water when the chance of rain is higher than 50%. Don't water when the wind speed is 30 miles per hour. So it is using forecast rainfall to predict smart watering. I have this checked. It gives me reports. It tells me when my system came on. So it came on at 2 a.m. on the 19th, and that's it. It tells me um, what my sensors are up to. So it'll tell me if I have a problem with a valve. So it reads the voltage or the amperage going into my solenoid and it tells me if I've got a problem. I've noticed here that the drip on the main patio is a problem because this is way too high. Sorry about that. So I've got to go out and check that. It'll give me a summary on my watering. It'll tell me about the virtual solar sink. What's it telling me? It's giving me data. So today happens to be the 21st. Here's the 21st, 79%. So it's not going to water today. It didn't water today. It tells me about smart water balances. It gives me reports on that all the time. If I have a water meter, it'll tell me about system flow. It'll tell me about sensors. So the HydroWise is a very, very good system for manage your irrigation system. They're well made, they're guaranteed. If you have a problem or if you have questions, you can call these people, and believe it or not, they'll call you back. They have two representatives in this area alone that their main job is to make sure that if you have one of their Hunter products, that you like it and it's working the way it should be. They'll even come to your home. I've had clients who have installed these systems. They don't understand how to set it up. One of them will come to your house and help you set the thing up. So it's a really good product, and I highly recommend that you look into getting one of these. So we've talked a lot about product, and I want to make sure that you understand that the Hunter has everything you need in terms of product. They have micro irrigation, which is drip tubing, and it is a inline emitter system. Here it is. It comes in three different flow rates. It comes in zero point 0.4 gallons per hour, zero point 0.6 gallons per hour, and zero point 0.9 gallons per hour. Which one would I use, Frank? Well, what kind of soil do you have? Oh, we're back to that soil thing. Well, you got a thing about soil, Frank. Yeah, kind of do. If I've got sandy soil, I'm going to get up here on this zero point 0.9 gallon per hour. If I've got clay soil, I'm going to go down to here either zero point 0.6 or zero point 0.4. So the soil is important to understand, and the type of drip system that you're putting out there is also important. So the cool thing about Hunter also is they have tons of videos. So I'm on the micro irrigation side. Here's micro irrigation system. Here's the micro irrigation system. Here's a video on this product that I just showed you on the HDL. So there's tons of videos out there that you can look at if you're a video learner, and a lot of people are. They understand how to install stuff by looking at videos. Um, so I highly recommend that you use their site and use their stuff. They also have charts all over the place. So if you want charts, it's all here. There's a cut sheet on the product. It talks about how to set it up, how to irrigate trees, how to order the product. There's all types of good stuff. And it has different languages. So if you're not fluent in English, well, here you go. There's all your languages. So Hunter has done a great job on education on all of their products. So if I go back into landscape irrigation and I pick up the MP rotators, I can go to the bottom and it's going to have videos. So learn more. There's going to be videos there that's going to teach you about this stuff. So Hunter does make a really good product. The Hunter system also has remotes. If you're checking your own system, you can buy these remotes. But if you have the app on your phone, you don't have, and you have a HydroWise controller, the phone becomes your remote. So you can start this from your phone app. In fact, when I go out and test my irrigation system, I just walk around with my phone and test the systems to make sure everything is at the right angle and doing what it should. So we talked about cleaning filters. We talked about um, irrigation heads at wrong angles. We talked about blow by. We talked about adjusting your heads. We talked about wiper seals. Here's the Rainbird wiper seal. That's a monster of a wiper seal. We talked about where to buy your materials. Stay away from big box. Go to Ewing, go to Site One. We talked about Hunter Industries and how good their products are. And they really are. Their staff will help you find what you need. And if you have questions, you can go to support and they will talk about what do you want? What do you want support on? And if I want support on sensors, they'll say, well, what kind of sensor do you want support on? Well, I like some support on this one. How do I do it? Here you go. Here's all the information about it. Here's the warranty. Solar Sync models, 5-year warranty. If a defect in a Hunter product is discovered during the applicable warning period, Hunter will replace it. And they will. They'll replace it. Stations are too wet or dry because the system is not programmed correctly. Calibration and setup period. It'll tell you how to set it up. So I can go to this calibration and setup period, and it'll tell me exactly how to set it up. Where am I? Well, I'm in the northern coastal regions, region 1. It gives me station run times. There's charts on that. Here's a chart on how to set it all up. So I showed you my charts. Well, here's Hunter's charts. So the information is there. It's just a matter of you going in and accessing it for your particular system. Let's see how's my time doing? Oh, I'm doing all right. When we talk about irrigation systems, we need to have a way of shutting them off. And with the HydroWise system, it's automatic because it's a virtual solar sync. If you have a regular irrigation controller that is not a smart controller or does not connect to the internet, you can buy these products. Let me go back to Hunter. Oh, here it is. I can buy these solar sinks and attach them to my regular irrigation controller. I'm going to go into sensors. There we go. So I can buy these. I can get a wired one. And if I've got an older controller, I can put this wired or wireless in and have it work with my controller. This has a rain gauge in it. So if it rains, it's automatically going to shut your controller down. And you can set it up for how long you want it to shut down by adjusting the openings of this ceramic disc. It also has a rain freeze sensor on it. If the temperature drops below 37 degrees on a wireless system, it'll shut it down. So these you can add to your irrigation system controller, no matter what it is. I want to talk about the soil sensors. Where's the soil sensors that Hunter has? They don't have one. Why? Because soil sensors don't work. If I've got a plant with a root system that is 18 inches into the ground, and I put a soil sensor on there to measure the amount of moisture in the ground at that particular plant, and right next to it, I have a plant that is only 12 inches into the ground, well, who's going to suffer? Is one going to get overwatered? Absolutely. It sure is. So that's why soil sensors are useless and you shouldn't buy them. Hunter does not even make one. But you'll see other irrigation controllers offering soil sensors. They don't work. They did some extensive work on soil sensor testing, excuse me, at a garden in Palo Alto on Embarcadero, and they found that they just didn't work. They were having problems all over the place. Once they disconnected their soil sensors, their system worked correctly. You'll also notice on the Hunter site, there is a homeowner site, which is well done. So there is a residential system design guide. You can download the guide. There's graph paper handbooks, all kinds of cool stuff that you can do. Spring startup checklist, which is exactly what we're talking about today. Opening the main water valve, manually activate all zones, check each station thoroughly, make automatic water adjustments, clean the weather sensors. They're all here. All of this stuff is here. So just go to the website, runtime calculators. They've got them. So I can get a runtime calculator that will help me set up my system using Hunter's website. All the information is here. And it's easy to do. So get started today. You can log in. You can sign up. The account is free if you sign up, by the by. There's a lot of material here that will help you. If you're in snow country, they talk about winterizing your system. They talk about smart control systems, time-saving solutions, and how to retrofit, which comes in handy. You can find a distributor, you can find a contractor, or if you need additional support, they have it. So this is a great way to get started on your system. So one of the things that I want to talk about, let me stop share, is as we transition from spring to summer. Quite frankly, I thought spring was here when we started to get the warm weather. Oh, that's better. I was already celebrating. These last couple of weeks have told me not so fast, Frank. Spring is not quite here. But I've already checked my irrigation system. I've already cleaned it. If I have a drip system, I've cleaned my filters. I've done all of the stuff that I need to do so that when the temperature starts rising, all I have to do is flip the switch and I'm back in business again. So when we talk about summer and your summer watering strategies, it's going to change depending on uh, your temperatures. So in the summertime, we can be down, and this is depending on where you are. If I'm in Los Altos Hills, the temperatures up there vary more than they do in Palo Alto, Menlo Park, Santa Clara, San Jose. But it's going to be consistent anywhere from 80 to 90 to 100 degrees. We have been getting summer temperatures above 100 in the last few years. And that a lot of it is due to, of course, you heard the term before, global warming. So when we talk about summer watering strategies, we need to think like a plant. If that plant is out there and it's adjacent to a concrete or blacktop area, then the amount of water that's needed for that particular plant is going to be higher. We're assuming that you're grouping like plants, like watering needs for plants on the same station or hydrozone. So you wouldn't put plants in the shade on the same station as plants in the sun. That may sound obvious, but I've seen it done so many times. So you're assuming that you've got everything hydrozoned correctly and that you're watering according to the setup times that you did on your you set up in your controllers. The HydroWise controller will automatically read temperature and adjust itself automatically, but it doesn't hurt to check. It's really sad when you go out there and your favorite plant is drooping or not doing as well as it should because you didn't check your system. As I said, these smart controllers are dumb. They're smart, but they're dumb. And they do need a little hand holding. And the hand that they want to hold is yours. So you want to go out there and make sure that um, you take care of that. After these rains, you want to just check your sensors if you have sensors out there because sometimes debris from a roof. So my sensor is attached to my rain gutter. And so debris might splash off the roof and clog my sensor. So I'm going to go out and check it. Tomorrow is supposed to be a nice day, so I'm going to go out and do it tomorrow and make sure my sensor is clean so that it gives the right information to my controller. The other watering strategy that I highly recommend is that you may want to do some hand watering. Um, you can rely on your irrigation system to do the bulk of the work, but every now and again, you'll notice that your plants are not thriving like they should. They're drooping, they don't look good, and you're always going to have that one plant that does that. Those I call indicator plants. Well, it doesn't hurt to go out there and hand water. Just to get a little splash of water on those plants. I have bird baths in my garden. I have three bird baths. And so when I go out and fill my bird baths, because I fill them with a hose, I also check my plants just to make sure that they're getting enough water. I usually do it in the afternoon when it's hot. So some days I'll go out there if I don't have my syringe watering time programmed into my controller, and I'll just hand water it. I think the plants appreciate it. They like seeing me out there. They like the fact that I'm paying attention to them and that I'm watering them. I especially do that when I have new veggies that are in the ground or veggies that are not quite mature. So my tomatoes are about 12 inches tall right now. So they're not quite mature. And so I may have to go out and give them a little extra water, as well as my basils and some of the other plants that I have out there. If you have plants that are partial shade or shade plants and they're getting too much sun, you're going to have to um, pay closer attention to those particular plants because they're going to need some additional water. Important that you just pay attention to your garden and give it what it needs. If you do have a new irrigation controller and you're in the process of calibrating it, the best way to do it is going out into the garden and looking at plants. Oh, sorry about that. Mm, losing my voice. Are there any questions out there, Victoria?
I don't see any in the chat or hands raised or in the Q&A. I did wonder if you talked a lot about spray systems. Is there anything for people who may have drip systems that you could give them just a couple general helpful hints? Because I feel like some people misunderstand the amount of time they should run their drip systems.
Excellent question. Yeah, I can do that. Let me get back into Safari. So when we talk about drip systems, Hunter has a great product, so they call it micro irrigation. And the deal with micro irrigation is that it waters in gallons per hour. A regular spray system waters in gallons per minute. And so when you calibrate your irrigation system, you have to know your flow rates. So these flow rates are written here. And it helps to know how much water this particular drip system is putting down over a given amount of time because it's gallons per hour. If I'm using a zero point 0.9 gallons per hour, the minimum amount of time I need to program into my controller is 30 minutes because that's going to put out about a half a gallon of water in 1 hour. If I'm only watering 30 minutes, then this system is only going to put out point 4 or 5 gallons per hour in 30 minutes. So you need to understand that about drip system. The other thing that I want to talk about is the other types of drip systems out there. And the one I really like is Netafim. My entire house is Netafim. And this, yeah, allow the cookies. This particular system works really well. I want to go to landscape and turf. Um, they have a catalog that you can look at. So you can view the online catalog. Lots of information in it. And it talks about product. So this is Techline. This is their product. I'll show you some pictures of it in a minute. But they also have a calculator. So they have a Techline calculator that will help you figure out how to plan your drip system. It's very well done. It talks about flow rate, spacing, product application. What are you applying it to? And it will work on your phone. So that's a good thing. But I want to go into drip lines and talk about Techline. So this is Techline CV. This is the one that I use. It's a very good product. It's laser etched for easy identification. It does water in a number of application rates, 0.9, 0.6, 0.4, just like the Hunter product. Here it is, 0.26 for, they have a lower one too, 0.4, 6, and 9. They have emitter spacings 12 inches, 18 inches, and 24 inches spacing. All of the nozzles on the emitters on there are pressure compensating, which means that the pressure is equal on the entire line. It also says that the maximum system pressure for this is 58 psi, minimum is 14, which means that I have to get some products to slow that pressure down. So I want to go into components. Here's a zone control kit. This is a valve, a pressure reducer, and a filter. This has I think it's 140 micron mesh filter. It needs to be cleaned on the solstice. So January 21st, March 21st, June 21st. And September 21st, I'm outside cleaning my filters. The pressure reducer drops the pressure down so that it's not blowing the fittings on my system. When you talk about the system, you buy Tinker Toys. Let me go to products. So you buy, it's easier if I do it this way, I think. Um, Here we go. So these are the different fittings that you can get. They, not showing you very much, is it? Let me go to images. That's better. So you get all these different fittings. So this is an elbow. There's T's. There's a T. You can also get locking fittings. I like the locking fittings because they don't blow off. You get all kinds of cool fittings. Here's the Netafim locking fittings. Netafim comes in two sizes, 17 mil and 12 mil. Don't buy the 12 mil. Buy the 17 mil. It does not clog. The 12 clogs, unless they fixed it. They may have fixed it by now, but I rather buy the 17. So you get all these tinker toys. So I want to go to configurations. And in that catalog that Netafim has on their website, they have uh, configuration. Let's see. There we go. So you're going to find all types of configurations. So they put a manifold on this one side and connected all the drip hoses to it, and then they use T's. You can do this. You don't even need very many fittings. The radius on this is about 14 inches before it'll kink. You can do this. If you've got fruit trees, you can put one line of drip as the fruit tree grows, put another line in. It's that simple. Here's something for the engineers out there. If you've got a bunch of fruit trees, how simple is that? So the configurations of the Netafim, it's very easy to do. In the manual, it shows you how to do it. DIY kits, using a water barrel or a water barrel. So you can do it that way. They also have what is called net bow. If you've got containers, this net bow ring fits around the plant and you attach it to your irrigation system and it waters automatically. So NetBow is one of their latest in innovations. It works really well, especially if you've got a lot of container plants. But you get a lot of tinker toys when you buy a Netafim. You get all these different kinds of fittings, which is a good thing. Um, you get filters, all types of stuff, depending on what you've got. Again, I like Netafim because if you have a problem and you call them, they'll answer the phone. So they have a phone number here. There's a phone number. They have a rep in the area and they will help you. You can go to their website. You can find out where their product is sold. It is sold at both Ewing and Site One. They both carry Netafim. So their headquarters in the California area is in Fresno. And they're really good about answering the phone and helping you out. You can choose the Hunter system, or you can go with the Netafim system. I like them both. I just happen to like the Netafim because it came out before the Hunter uh, system came out. It's a very well made product and it's proven to work. In the farm industry, a lot of people have gone to Netafim to irrigate crop because it works and it doesn't clog, which is key. All right. All right. Any other questions or something you want me to talk about?
I think you kind of have covered the gamut. You did mention about the syringe irrigation in the middle of the afternoon, and I know some, including Santa Clara, some municipalities have ordinances against.
Yes,
We
I
don't
know.
actively enforce, but they are present on the books that you
Right,
should only be watering between 6 p.m. and 9 a.m.
right.
So that does get a little touchy, but I did notice when you were mentioning about your own, when you had your system up, can you just say why you chose the timing that you did for the majority of your controller programs? Because some people still aren't familiar with the reasoning behind that.
Uh, the reasoning behind which?
Because all your programs are going off at like 2 a.m., 5 a.m.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
don't want to water at night because of the fungal activity. So if your water is sitting there all night, you're increasing the fungal activity on your plants. You want to water early in the morning so that the water gets used and that it's cooler. So my irrigation system goes off about 4 in the morning. And as the sun comes up around 8, my plants are well irrigated. The irrigation system is turned off. And I don't have to worry throughout the day. In terms of a syringe, I also mentioned I go out there with a hose and I syringe my plants off. If it's really hot, I go out there and do it that way. If you can't do it because of an ordinance. So that's kind of a way to get around it.
That is true because municipalities do not have any ordinances against hand watering. So that's a great way to just also keep in touch with your plant's needs.
Yep.
So
Again, get your stuff at Ewing or Site One and save your receipts. Your receipts are valuable because they have the SKU numbers on there. And put them in a binder so that if you need to go back and buy other stuff, you've got the SKU numbers. You've got it all. You can take that binder in there and show them, I want this, and they'll be able to give it to you. The more you buy, the cheaper your products become. So if you're in buying 4 or 5 times a month, they're going to give you a better discount, and they may even give you a hot dog every now and again. I don't know. So anyway, that's all I have tonight. Anybody have any questions, concerns?
no, I think you've covered the majority of what we were hoping to cover tonight. So I just wanted to say again, thank you for taking the time to speak with us and for all the great information. And it's very helpful, I think, because a lot of people don't know where to get products and they think that your local box store is going to have what you need, and it really doesn't.
No.
So those are great tips. So thank you for that too.
Okay, good. Thank you for taking care of me, Victoria.
And hopefully everybody has a wonderful evening. And again, happy Earth Day.
Yep. See you guys later.
Have a great night.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.